but I do want to introduce Coach Jane Ryan. She is a partner and leader of the executive coaching practice at Strong Towers Partners, LLC. It's a certified minority-owned executive retained search firm specializing in bringing the world diversity of talent and emotionally intelligent leaders, an imperative in driving diversity, equity, and inclusion in today's organizations. Jane, she's an international executive coach and expert in helping clients strengthen their emotional intelligence. She applies her extensive studies in psychology, specifically emotionally intelligence, in her trademark coaching methodology, helping her clients achieve optimal transformational leadership and life goals. Her applied science methodology incorporates proven proprietary coaching techniques that help her clients measurably move from where they are today to where they need to be and want short and long term by increasing emotional awareness and overall emotional intelligence. Jane's unique coaching style and methods provide her clients measurable and achievable outcomes, resulting in improved performance, growth, and a renewed energy with a positive outlook on life and leadership. Coach Jane is also a published author, blogger, expert, speaker, and presenter. Most importantly, Jane is a servant leader who is passionate about helping others find their passion and become successful at achieving their goals and dreams in life, leadership, and careers. And Jane believes that the choices we make today determine our tomorrows. So let's welcome Jane today as she presents Emotionally Intelligent Crisis Leadership.
There. Thank you. I'm humbly flattered. And I'm excited to be able to speak about something I'm very passionate about, especially today in the world that we're in. It is a topic that is essential and critical to all leaders, and that's to be emotionally intelligent. And then I'm excited to talk about what that is, and as far as crisis leadership, because all leaders, no matter where you are in the world, have been thrown into a whirlwind of unknowns and into an area that you've never experienced before because of the unprecedented COVID-19 and all the other racial unrest and all the stuff that's been going on in this world. So I'm happy to talk about this. What I'd like everyone to take away, and you can tell me if you want to learn something else or talk more about something, but to, just a little bit on what is emotional intelligence, what is emotionally intelligent crisis leadership, what is that, why your emotional intelligence or EI is critical in crisis, and how can you strengthen your EI starting right now today. And I will close with that so that you have something to walk away with besides some nice pretty slides and information that you can actually start doing something with. So the takeaways. Emotional intelligence is the ability to identify, recognize, and understand, and then your emotions, and manage those emotions in yourself as well as in others. It's not about manipulating someone else. It's about managing yourself and managing the interactions you have with others. It is a critical skill for everyone in life, but especially those in leadership, and especially in crisis leadership, which every leader is facing again today. It allows leaders to cope with changing environments, making good decisions, strategic decisions, communicating and helping employees navigate and through all of the challenges that an organization would be facing. Again, everything that I'm saying is really in life or in business, but the focus is on leadership in organizations today. Emotionally intelligent crisis leadership is about leaders that are leading through crisis, and they are acutely aware of their own emotions and intuitively aware of the emotions of others. Through their empathy, which is a critical skill, emotionally intelligent crisis leaders factor in emotions when presenting information, making decisions and engaging with their people, especially, of course, during crisis. So emotional intelligence is really important because it allows us to manage stress very effectively. People with high emotional intelligence are known, and studies show that they have less stress. So if you have less stress, you're going to be able to think more clearly, right? Because any type of stress clouds our ability to make good decisions, to think clearly, and of course, to be able to communicate effectively. An emotionally intelligent leader will handle any crisis, be able to handle any crisis at any given time, big or small, much better than someone who doesn't have strong emotional intelligence. The competencies found within the 4 domains of EI are self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. You may hear of some other domains and quadrants referred to as a domain or a quadrant, but in essence, these are the core. And each provides a leader the skills they need to face crisis with lower reactivity, with less stress, but also greater impulse control. So again, to be able to control oneself, to have composure, to have that leadership presence that is able to, people feel you, right? It's that leadership presence with charisma, with confidence, with trust, with strength, which all leaders must have. Just quickly, a little bit about the 4 domains and the core. These are the core competencies that generally fall within them, but there are others. But really think about self-awareness as having good awareness of what I'm feeling at any given time and how that emotion impacts me, impacts my performance and behavior, and then how that impacts others. So how others perceive me and how my emotional behavior will impact someone else. And being able to understand those emotions. And then how accurate am I? Am I accurate in the emotion that I'm feeling? Sometimes, and oftentimes, we can confuse what we're feeling with some other feeling, with another emotion. For example, if I was applying for this executive job and I was going through interview after interview, and then I was in the front, I was a finalist, and then the next thing you know, it's down to me and one other person gets it, not me. Well, I put a lot of work into that, right? If I wanted that job, I felt like that was the perfect job for me. So initially, maybe I'd feel that I was angry, but in essence, I was hurt. See how you can get confused with what your emotion is at any given time and what you're feeling. So just again, strong EQ with self-awareness is around understanding what you're feeling and the impact it has on yourself and others. It also talks about your self-worth, your self-confidence, your self-efficacy, as we say in psychology. It's that knowing and understanding what I'm fully capable of doing and achieving. And again, for leadership and leadership in crisis, you have to have that presence, that self-confidence, and that ability to know you're going to get from point A to point B or Z, even if it's in crisis and we don't exactly know how to do it all. Self-management, one of the most important competencies there is self-control, impulse control, the ability to block out disruptive thoughts, to be in the moment with whomever you're speaking to, and to listen actively before speaking, before allowing your mind to go run off somewhere, to focus and be in the moment and have that self-control. It also has to do with your ability to navigate politics within an organization, build decision networks, and also be able to have a sense of understanding that allows you to really step out of your own head and empathize and put yourself in someone else's shoes. But social awareness is really about empathy. It's about your ability to do exactly that. Stephen Covey said, seek first to understand, then to be understood. So it's about really being able to, take yourself out and listen and understand who you're talking to, no matter who they are, and no matter what country they're from, what culture, anything, right? Even if they don't speak English and you don't speak their language, body language and understanding different cultures and being able to align yourself appropriately as a leader is very critical. And then relationship management, there's multiple competencies measured there, 7 in particular, but there's many others. But it really is about your ability to build rapport and trust quickly, to be able to be a visionary leader, to think strategically, to be able to influence with integrity and communicate with persuasion, but again, with integrity. Being able to be a change catalyst, to help people think about a new way of going, to do something different, to shift from the direction they're in into another in a good way, right? To be able to collaborate, build cooperation, be that, again, to manage conflict collaboratively without getting sucked into someone's negativity, to always remain that calm, cool, collected, and very astute, if you will, professional. I just for a sense of timing and everything, I didn't want to dive. I was talking, you probably noticed I talked about a few things that were on those slides and some that wasn't, but I was combining it for you. But again, just to have the slides and the content so that when you get a copy of this PowerPoint, if you choose and you'd like to have a copy, then you'll have the information that goes with the pretty pictures. But it really is on self-awareness. It's knowledge is power. And as a leader in crisis, you must have that knowledgeable power and being able to control your thoughts and understand what your thoughts are doing and the impact it has. And it's that thoughtful awareness of what you're feeling that allows you to choose how you're going to respond, how you're going to handle emotions in a constructive way. Emotional intelligence in crisis must have self-control. Without that self-control, then it's chaos, right? It's like herding squirrels. It's how are you going to lead without having that control of yourself, and also to be able to help others understand a direction and go in that direction. Daniel Goleman refers to the amygdala hijack. The amygdala is that there's 2 actually almond-shaped parts of our brain. They're the most primitive parts of our brain, but it's the part of our brain that's talking about, fight, flight, freeze. It's always saying, hey, there might be danger ahead. Hey, there might be danger ahead. It's like that little voice that's saying, is it really safe? Is it really safe? Well, no, I don't think it's safe. But it's the frontal lobe. It's the frontal cortex of our brain that says, wait a minute, it's okay. I know it's all right. It's not a threat. It's nothing to be stressed about. I'm safe. So there's this constant battle that's always going on in our brains about whether something's safe or whether or not. And it's your emotional intelligence, which is, again, takes place with the messaging in the frontal cortex of your brain, the prefrontal cortex of your brain, that allows you to reason with your amygdala, to plan, the ability to plan, to do strategic planning, to think strategically, and to execute and carry something forward and out. So in the middle of crisis, you must exert control over your emotions. And again, another critical reason why emotional intelligence is so important. The good news is that you can train your brain. You can train your brain to strengthen the prefrontal cortex and the capacity to control the amygdala, and to be able to be that leader that's that calm in the storm when others may not be. It's being able to lead when there's unknowns ahead. So there are techniques, and there's actually 10 techniques that I've been working on for about 20 years now. I realized that I've tested over and over again that really work. They're very simple. The main thing to remember is that if you are serious about strengthening your emotional intelligence so that you can lead through any type of environment, and definitely through crisis, then you have to commit yourself to actually want to learn how to strengthen your emotional intelligence. And it's like any other skill. The only way you do that is to learn it, apply it, apply it, apply it until it becomes natural, and you just do it naturally. And it's no different with training your brain to do that. It's through neuroplasticity, that repetitiveness, because your brain thrives on efficiencies. What you tell it to do that's efficient, it's going to it's just going to gravitate towards that. Social awareness, I mentioned, is about empathy and being able to really genuinely be concerned with how someone is feeling, why they're feeling that way, and then how you can help them resolve what they're feeling. And if you're leading an organization in crisis, how are you going to help your employees feel safer, maybe not totally safe, but safer? How are you going to help them navigate through the crisis, deal with it, adapt to it, change? It's that sense of social awareness for all the ways in which crisis impacts business, people, and systems. Identifying the problems, correcting the problems, being able to handle whatever is thrown at you without being frustrated or stressed, or encountering blind spots that you may have overlooked. Self-management, I mentioned, is about really building rapport and trust. It pulls in all of the domains of emotional intelligence, but in essence, it really is about having that leadership presence, being able to influence and communicate clear, concise, well-tuned messages that anyone can understand, that you align your messaging to whoever you're speaking to. And these competencies require the self-awareness, the self-control, and the social awareness. And developing these competencies, it takes time. It does. It takes commitment, time, effort, discipline, focus. These are all competencies as well within emotional intelligence. Your ability to focus, block out disruptive thoughts, distractions, being able to take the time to learn and strengthen, and then feel that sense of accomplishment as you look back over your leadership and say, wow, I handled that crisis well. I did the right things. I communicated well. So it's just my little screen is there. Okay. So emotional intelligence is strength. You can strengthen it. Being able to anticipate and predict what lies ahead as best that you can. It's that visionary leadership. That takes strategic thinking. It's the ability to imagine, which takes intelligence, right? One of the things Albert Einstein said was that, one of the most critical competencies, if you will, of someone with strong IQ is the ability to imagine, because it's looking forward. It's looking at something that doesn't exist. It's seeing something that doesn't exist and being able to communicate it in a way that anyone can understand it. Listen, actively listen, learn, continuous learning, and applying what you've learned, and then experiencing it and applying it and tweaking it as you go. Lead, improve yourself, elevate others, lift others up. One of my clients I was working with was on the board of directors of a big bank. And one of the things I remember her saying is that she said that she leads from behind, meaning you lift people up. You're behind, you're lifting them up, you're engaging them, you're encouraging them, you're empowering them, you're helping them become leaders and to do what they do very well. You don't have to be always the one in the very front. So to unlock your inner superpowers, I call them, I'm going to share with you some techniques that you can use and take with you. And again, I'm sure Dr. Rivers or Dr. Pearson can give you a copy of my PowerPoint, or I would love for you to connect with me on LinkedIn. I can send you a copy, whatever way is most convenient, but you could have a copy of this and go over these and actually start doing this, right? So, and then when we're done, I'm sure I would love to answer any questions that you might have. One of the techniques is so simple. It takes a minimum of 15 minutes, but it really, really works. And I've had clients tell me it's changed their lives. And it's amazing how it works because I've experienced that for myself. But it's daily morning mindfulness or daily morning mindful prayer, whatever you want to call it. But it's taking 15 minutes each morning before you do anything, before you pick up your iPhone or your smartphone or the computer, to preferably find time outside alone and be in nature, and to spend 5 minutes of being grateful. And so it's a great way to, first of all, doing this every morning, it requires discipline. You have to discipline yourself to do this. And then you have to focus. Meditation is the ability to focus. So you want to spend 5 minutes of being grateful. And it's just simply blocking out disruptive thoughts and thinking about what you're grateful for. When your mind wanders, just bring it back. Just bring it back. And it takes a while to do this. 5 minutes seems like forever in the beginning. And then pretty soon it comes natural. Then you spend 5 minutes of meditation or prayer or reading devotionals, whatever it is that allows you to, interact with your greater power. And then you spend 5 minutes of setting your intention for that day only. And because what we set our intention to do, what I intend to do today, I pay attention to it below the conscious level, right, in the short-term memory. So I could easily pull it up, right, if I set that intention. And many times it's best to set the intention on, something you want to improve upon, or something that you just want to make sure you do. Maybe it's simply that you want to be the best possible version of yourself. Maybe you want to be a kinder version of yourself. And so it's setting that intention that I'm going to be a kinder person today. I'm going to try to do it every day. And every day I'll get better. But by doing that, I'm more prone to make that happen because my brain is telling me, hey, remember you said you're supposed to be kind today, Jane. So when you get kind of caught up in something, it's like, stop, breathe, think, I want to accomplish what I set out to do. Meditation has been proven to foster the ability to inhibit those very quick emotional impulses. So again, that daily morning mindful meditation or prayer, 15 minutes minimum, you can spend as much time out there as you want, but it's a minimum of 15. And it will eventually, what it does also, it fills this, being grateful fills your body with positive energy, positivity, so that, and then setting your intention helps you deal with stress, manage stress better, navigate and solve complex problems, all those things. But it begins with that ability to really discipline yourself. Critical reflection is another technique, and it fosters and strengthens your self-awareness. It becomes, the ability to critically reflect is about your ability to continuously reflect and then self-improve. And so the way to do that is to simply every night and right before you go to bed. It needs to be done right before you go to bed, and it's 15 minutes minimum, but it also is 15 minutes maximum. And that's where you just ask yourself 3 simple questions. What went well today? I always say, what went well today regarding my intention that I set? But what went well today and why? What did you do that made you feel, you know what, today that went really well? And then what did not go so well today? Preferably about the intention that you set. What did not go so well today? Or some people, I have in here too, my slide, week. If you can't do it every night, at least do it once a week. But what did not go so well today and why? And then if you could hit that restart button, what could you have done differently to achieve a better outcome, a positive outcome, versus one that you weren't so happy about? That starts to create a continuous self-improvement, that reflection. And you'll find over time, the things that you're really good at, you're going to start to see that you're always doing them and you're getting better at them. And the things that were a problem before or were a challenge before, you've improved upon it, and you've improved upon it so that they're no longer a problem. And then in addition to that 15 minutes, spending, another 5 minutes of being grateful, and then playing some relaxing meditative music, and go to bed. It actually will help you sleep better, sleep through the night, not let your mind wander and keep you up at night thinking about all these things that went on during the day. It kind of hits that restart button. And then when you start the next morning again with mindful prayer or meditation, bam, it can become very powerful very quickly, but you have to repeat it. Stop, breathe, think, then speak or act. It hits that restart button in your brain. It does. There's a chemical thing that happens when you take a deep breath and you just think, okay, who am I talking to? Is it worth getting upset about? As you can see in this picture, this young woman is probably going, oh my God, this guy is so annoying, right? Well, before we go there, just, stop, breathe, think. Well, it's Donald, and that's how Donald is. And I need to just accept Donald for who he is. And I'm not going to let it upset me, right? A simple technique of stop, breathe, think before you speak or act. Consider your audience. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Who, what, when, where, why, how. Who am I talking to? What is important for them to know? What's important for me to know? How should I communicate? When, just things like that. And of course, actively listening, being in the moment, blocking out disruptive thoughts, not allowing your brain to wander, and listen to that individual, even if it's someone that maybe talks too much or you just don't want to listen to. Just do it. It's good for you. Ask open-ended questions. Seems very simple. It is. If you think about it, though, and many times we don't ask open-ended questions. We ask questions that can be answered with yes or no, right? Communication is about giving information and receiving information. And in order to do that, we have to ask open-ended questions to receive information so that then we can process it to communicate effectively. Paraphrasing, simple technique, but it helps make sure you're on the same page with someone. So many times we may believe, especially as a leader, especially in crisis, especially when so much is going on, that I understand what that person said. Wait a minute. Stop, breathe, think. Wait a minute, ask yourself or ask that individual, Dr. Pearson, let me make sure I understand what you asked me. You asked me this, and that. Is that correct? Dr. Pearson could say, yes, Jane. Or she could say, well, Jane, that was part of what I said, but you missed the other part. This is what I added on that. Or she could have said, that wasn't really what I meant at all, right? But it gives us an opportunity, to communicate and be on the same page. Critical skill in emotional intelligence. Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Covey and Daniel Goleman were good friends, and they were talking, this is back before Covey passed, of course, and they were talking about how the 7 habits and applying them can strengthen emotional intelligence. And so again, think about the 7 habits. And if you haven't read that book or haven't dusted it off in a long time, it's a real good idea to pull it back up and read it, or to buy it. You can buy it for $3 used on Amazon. But seek first to understand, then to be understood. Empathy. That's about empathy. Sharpen the saw is really about reflection and thinking about how you can sharpen the saw, how you can become stronger, better, improve yourself. Synergize. That's about communicating and building those synergies, alignment with whomever you're speaking to. So again, just good things to remember. Be deliberate, be proactive. Begin with the end in mind. Know where I am today and where you want to be. or need to be, where you are as a leader today, and how do you want to, what's the legacy you're going to leave, or how are you going to lead those in the organization that you're responsible for through this crisis. You have to be that strength. You have to be that rock that people trust and will walk through hell for to do it. And your strong emotional intelligence really is the only way to do it. Understand personalities, yours and others. It's important to know, who you are, extrovert, introvert, all that type of stuff. But it's understanding me, but I want to be able to pick up quickly the personality of someone else. So what? So that I can align my style of leadership and my style of communication to whomever I'm talking to. I just give an example of the 16 personalities, and actually included a free personality test for you. But it really is about and definition of what it means. A lot of people don't understand what it really means to what those letters mean and percentages. And also there's a fifth letter in here, the assertive or turbulent, that is in this test to take if you want to do it, which I strongly encourage you, because it helps build greater self-awareness, and then it helps you understand others. That, Dr. Rivers and Dr. Pearson, are really that's my talk. It really is about putting it all together, discipline and focus and application. And if you do this, you will strengthen your emotional intelligence.